Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and of course the group sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Man, it's a beautiful time because we're seeing all the prophecies speaking, man. And this devil is showing his horns. You see, this man, the same figure, let's say Gates of Hell, because we can't say his name, that a couple years ago, you can't even find that TED Talk where he said if we do a really good job with vaccines, we can get the population down. This man is as deaf. Somebody have a two, all right? This man, if he's able to go forward with his plans, like he says in Matthew the 24th chapter, no flesh will be saved. But right now, the things of Esau are being searched out. You know, this man is truly being revealed for who he is. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. So whoever has it.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4, it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine.
He transgresseth by wine. The philosophy that he pushes in the earth, man. He pushes a completely contrary way that the Lord told us to walk by. Part of that contrary way that he pushes, right, is, you know, that alphabet agenda, getting people to bow to the syringe, which that's gearing up again, all right, which everybody, it's been proven time and time again by this point that caused many deaths. But they're about to shove that same narrative down these people's throats. You know what these people are going to do? They're going to do it again.
They're going to do it again. A lot go rebel. They got the mask mandate coming back too. So a lot of people go rebel this time.
Yeah,
bro.
It's about to get interesting, man. We're in the home stretch. All right, and the more these devils start to push his agenda, the more people are going to seek of the Lord. The elect are going to really start to seek.
That's when that scripture started with the just shall live by faith.
Yep.
Because he's going to be operating in a very chaotic, destructive, deceptive manner.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to be rooted through the Holy Spirit to get through this, man. Because it's getting ready to, like we see happening in Maui. Little Maui. Right. Basically, this guy is trying to establish that he's God first. Right, you know?
Yeah.
And he's making the people conform to his image.
That's right. Yeah, so you have a woman, you kind of put your mind frame on her. You know, she's around you, you say, no, this is how we do, this is how I move things around. He's done that to the masses of the people. And the scripture we're reading kind of goes into that. Go ahead.
Go on, verse Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also, because he transgressed by wine, is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
And he's going all over the world, pushing his way, his mind frame on all the people. Kamala Harris, man, like a month ago, they sent her ass over there to what was it, Uganda? To say, hey, no, you should be accepted.
Ghana too, I think she went to Ghana.
Yeah, all the Hamite nations say, hey, you should be accepting of this lifestyle, alternative lifestyle. And then the Hamites is like, hell no. You know? So there's a conflict brewing, man. Everybody, all the nations are aligning on their side, whether they want to align, you know, with the East or they're aligned with the West, man. And we're getting ready to see that battle play out, which is really for our benefit. Because as these nations go at it, man, we know what happens in the midst of that. Our power intervenes, and the kingdom of heaven gets established. You see? Finish that out.
Go on, it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death.
He enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death. You got an article, so after we finish this, you can bring your article out. This man is as death. Wherever he goes, the conditions that are against life follows him, man. A contrary way, iniquity follows. This man has set up military bases damn near in every region of the earth and pushing his ways on all these various countries. There's a reason when you go travel abroad that there's an underlying sentiment of disdain for America. Right? Because the people in other countries, they understand they're being extorted for their resources. All right? He enlarges his desires. That part of that is, you know, he extorts people for their resources.
Yep.
Under the guise of, you get to be linked in with us, and but really it's not to their benefit. And he's pushing that mindset that's contrary to family and life, and to these people, their traditions, that their whole world changes once you get in bed with Esau. You see, go ahead.
Real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Habakkuk chapter 1, And 9, speaking of the Chaldeans, which is synonymous with the daughter of the Chaldeans, Esau, Edom. It says, they shall come all for violence, their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand.
It's like, you ever notice when Esau gets involved with the country, violence precedes it? Why? Because he's the one that set up the violence. He'll set up a coup in your country, set up a movement in your country to where there's conflict, then he steps in. This man, he's the very man that's synonymous with ruling by the sword.
Which that goes back to Genesis 27. The reason why that happened is because this is his blessing.
Yeah.
He has the fatness of the earth, so this is his kingdom.
Yeah.
This is his for now. It's temporary though.
And that word fatness goes into oil.
Wow. That is wow.
Yeah. If you want oil, you really got to go through the Esau.
Oh, come on, I didn't know
And
that.
that petrodollar.
And that's dope. What, the UAE Emirates and what's the other Arab country? They align with BRICS.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And what gave the dollar, value really? Because back during the Nixon administration, what they made that exchange that you use our military, all your conflicts, but you got to sell your oil using the petrodollar. So that's what the dollar synonymous became backed by oil, because it was no longer backed by silver or gold.
Yeah, they bought up all the oil reserves.
Yep. So now they're aligning with the whole different, that Esau's blessing that oil. You can see things are starting to tear apart at the seams. So he has to make a move.
Right, and everybody pretty much has to go through Esau. And what we're seeing in these latter days, though we know it's the elite, we're seeing people try to get around that dollar, get around that system. Because that's one of the great ways of fornication. Nations commit fornication, all right, when their leaders accept currency of another nation. Right, so then you start to submit to a particular level, you align with this particular, and ultimately the nations are mad in these latter days. War is getting brewed up. Right?
That's right, man. Can we finish that verse? Okay.
Going back to Habakkuk chapter 2 in the middle of verse 5, it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but him all nations and heapeth unto him all people.
And that's the ones that all the nations together under his umbrella, under his philosophy, under his way, and for all the people to receive his mark. Yeah, we're gonna bring up the mark every time we get in front of a camera, man. Because that's the main hurdle that our people are gonna have to jump over. You still got more of your precepts for it?
Yeah. Habakkuk chapter 1 and 10, and they shall scoff at the kings, and their princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. And that's Esau Edom. He scoffs at kings and goes throughout the planet Earth, disrupting economies. All right, and when you deal with something like the IMF and these world banks, and the way that these devils have heaped captivity and pretty much gathered all people under their banner, it's absolutely wicked. It's nothing but the modern day Tower of Babel, where they want everything in their control, and their desires as hell. So they're going to take it a step further. All right, they've gone throughout the planet Earth, submitted, put the foot down. Now they're receiving a rebellion. So they're like, oh shit, okay, we got something for your ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Or to have chaos. They're gonna use that. They seek to use that chaos to their advantage, man. Because the people that stand up against them, they're gonna be painted out to be what treasonous, traitors. They're gonna be painted out to be individuals, that are against life. You gotta remember, with the whole this technology and science, he's getting ready to make it seem like he's what's best for people.
Right.
With that Neuralink, seen a video recently. They got this. They hooked this dude's hand up, and he was able to move his hand again.
Yeah.
So think about Big Mama. She ain't walked in 10 years, and she get the Neuralink device, and we out here prophesying against it.
Right.
Hey, that's the MOTB. People gonna look at you don't want Big Mama to walk.
And Big Mama, they show her running upstairs and shit.
Yeah.
She done got her life back together. They're like, what is this? Big Mama, she pop locking and shit.
Yes,
This
man.
Big Mama running a 40.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Big Mama.
That dance back in the
Yeah.
So it's being presented as a savior.
Right.
That's what this technology is being presented as. Even your boy Gates of Hell is being called a modern savior. Wow.
And sorry, you can't find the TED Talk. Well, maybe you can, but it's hard to
It's
come
not
by.
on YouTube no more.
It's so hard to find that TED Talk he did.
He told you. He said what he was going to do, and he's doing it. Right? To get people, because the earth is overpopulated. The Malthusian theory, you know?
They said that they said that they will in Gil Bates' TED Talk. He's mentioned reducing CO2 levels. He said it.
It was on the screen, right?
He said he was like, if we reduce this much carbon, it's going to reduce this much population. And then now they're talking about big ass vacuums.
I'm pretty sure it's on one of them other platforms. We got to get.
We gotta find
we
it.
got to find it and do
Save it
videos
on
on it
file.
and put it on Odyssey.
Exactly. Mama Harris said it too. She was like, when we reduce the population.
They said it was a slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah, it was. The Most High made you say it.
Yeah.
The Spirit made you say
He
it.
was clapping. I was like,
Hey, what is
damn,
this?
that's witchcraft. Yeah.
But you people, you're conditioned not to bat an eye at those things. But the elect have been given the eyes to see. So when we see those things, we're like, hold up. These are the characteristics of that wicked man. You got to get.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Yeah, the wicked is being revealed now in our time. The climax of it is going to be when the Lord shows that He has a complete disdain for specifically them, and that's going to be a what? The chariots when He comes back and He burns them all up. They're put into subjugation. All the nations are going to be put into subjugation, and primarily Edom, that same nation that was at the head of that council. What, Psalm 83? In Psalm 83, where it says, "They shall confederate against thee."
Yep. It says, verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
So if anybody, if you had to do a who's who, you know how they do mystery shows with the who done it, the murder cases, that who done it, those little shows. Yeah, if you had to narrow down who's fitting the description of the man that's carrying out the workings of Satan on the earth, who does it fit? It's clearly Esau, the so-called white man. And Satanism, also just to go back to that Gil Bates, that's the easier way to say it, huh?
BG.
Yeah, BG. BG, man.
The real BG. The
Yeah.
real BG.
Going back to his talk and what he stated, in Satanism, it's required for them to tell you what they're going to do before they actually do it. That way they're blameless. The same way, it's like the left-hand side of the prophets. Because the prophets, we say what the Lord is going to do before He does it. That way the blood is off our hands, the Lord has warned you. If you don't heed, that's on you. So they do the same thing on the left-hand side. And He blatantly told you that the goal is to decrease the population.
Yeah, well, I remember doing a lesson in that stance, you know what I'm saying? Like, just as these prophets on the right-hand side, telling this devil what he's getting ready to do. Remember, there's a balance. There's a left-hand side of everything. So these elites, they look at themselves, El Yashalam did a video, they literally are like, look, we about to be God. We are God. So they got their little prophets, the Bill Gates, the Noah Hararis, and the Klaus Schwab, all these different individuals. That's their quote-unquote prophets that are letting you know what they plan on doing on the left-hand side. You see? Yeah. But it's so heavy because Yahweh Bashim Shah, he's controlling both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's heavy when you think about it. Like the Lord is really putting it in their mind, and they really truly think that they're about to accomplish it.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
Yeah.
They even put shit in like what is it from The Simpsons? You see, they put little shit like Jake just being all that shit. All The Simpsons predicted it. That goes back into Esau. You know what I'm saying? Proclaiming himself that he is. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, they even put the do in one of the episodes I had seen. The direct interview. Yeah. They had burned up the whole town.
It's on the Mount Dukan now.
Yeah, everything that was blue didn't burn up. Yeah.
Direct energy weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, say that shit on your page.
I love that.
Well, he got his
I said,
all right, this 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I'm going to read verse 9 in the NLT. It says, this man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles.
Man. Yeah. That's what we're witnessing. Like, even these like the thing that happened in Hawaii, that was really a counterfeit disaster.
Yeah.
But it's being presented to the people as if like this is natural.
Right.
That don't happen on islands like that.
Oh, but
Hell no.
Yeah, fire jumping. He's
Like-
jumping and he's missing.
Yeah, come on, man. I seen a video where it actually looked like you could see like something was beaming down. This place is crazy.
Right.
But like it says that what Amos was the Amos 6, should there be evil in the city and the Lord hath not done
He
it?
set him up.
They want to do everything, you know, like on the left-hand version. So they want to have control. Because whenever something happens, the Lord uses disasters. He uses judgments to get pieces to move on the board. All right, so he can set things up the way he wants. Esau's trying to be that way. But again, like you said, he's still in the hand of the Lord.
Well, remember Pharaoh had his magi that was doing like the, when making the staff turn into a serpent and turning the water to blood. You know, he had his magicians doing the same things. Yeah. See, but the things that had the magicians be like, man, hell no. Hey, these people gotta go back to the, you know what I'm saying? Was when the Lord sent the death angel down,
Yeah.
smite the firstborn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the famines was coming. It was like, man, hold on a second, man. We can't. Because that's what Esau's doing right now. It's things that's happening right now where Esau's like, shit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be, and that main thing is the fact that the prophets are rising up from the last days. So he's like, that's a terrible fear. It's like, we put trillions
Right.
dollars.
I got a precept real quick. Job 21, I started at 29. Have you not asked them that go by the way? And do you not know their tokens that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him for what he have done? Who shall declare his way to his face? The prophets, man. And that goes into that scripture in 2 Thessalonians. All right? The Lord would expose him, all right, will reveal him, all right, through the word of his mouth, which is the prophets, which is going to lead to the brightness of Yahweh's coming, which is going to take this devil down, man. We're speaking the end of you devil's reign and legacy of terror, rape, rob, and murder. We're speaking it down. We're chanting it down. The earth needs new management. And before that happens, the Lord is going to raise up his prophets, okay, to tell you that, to accuse you. Go ahead.
Can I get that word declare for you? Yeah, that word declare in the Hebrew is negad, and it says to be conspicuous. And that word conspicuous means like when something stands out, like a conspicuous wall, like it's definitely something that's easily seen. It says conquer, overcome, to be courageous.
Overcome. They overcame him by the word, by the blood of Yahweh and by the word of their testimony. This is a testimony because the judge is the Most High God Yahweh, all right, and he's going to set judgment through Yahweh Shai. That's like the thing in the apple, you know, that Yahweh Shai is that, man. That great millstone. Go ahead.
It says to be vigorous, to be effective. Effective. See, because this word is affecting the word is affecting these devils, man. You see? And that lines up with Wisdom of Solomon 5. It says, then shall the righteous man stand with great boldness in the faces of that affliction.
I got something real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey,
The elder had mentioned, he said that Job did say the wicked was reserved, right? So when you go into the etymology of the word reserved, I'm gonna get straight to it. It says to set aside for a future use. Now, when you get the Zendorian Bible Dictionary and you want to eat them, it says that they're matter of fact, I got you.
Woo! Brother, put a banger
It's
up
gonna say
there.
that was reserved, that was gonna be for future judgment, man. Let you know who that wicked is that it's talking about, man. And in the book of Job, it's talking about the Edomites, man. You see? It said Edom, right? Yeah, Edom. Sure, Edom. Let's see. Finding this. Okay, here it is. This is the definition of Edom in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And I'm going down straight to the points towards the latter part of the definition, the last paragraph. It said Edom figures prominently in the prophetic great future judgments. See? future. See, ain't no way he can escape it. He can't. God is revealing this man.
Right.
See, it says, see notably Isaiah 34, 6 and Isaiah 63. Man, that's it.
So Cain didn't get away.
Nope.
Yeah, he didn't get away. Everybody pays, and the Lord reserved the judgment of the wicked seeds, the children of Satan. He reserved it until this time.
But the scripture said there should not be an end of the people. So that means everybody is back. And still here. Esau is still here.
His judgment is going to be the most public. So before all the nations, the Lord has built them up to this point to seem like a God to these people. All right, and he's going to tear them down with effortlessness. Okay, to magnify his power, the same way he was magnified back in Egypt.
And he's doing it now with the spirit of his mouth. Prophecy is at the forefront of everything, man. That's why I say these camps and brothers go out and teaching, we have to covet to prophesy. Prophecy is very important. Because prophecy has got this man gonna come down with great wrath, right?
Yeah.
So by you knowing prophecy take place, you know the end is coming. So you know what to pray for. You know how to pray. It's a difference, you see? You have to covet to prophesy, man. That's the whole forefront of this message.
You would think all of Israel would think that way, all right? All the camps, you would think they would covet prophecy, but they don't. If I went to one of these regular people in the world, I said, hey, I'm going to give you an ability to know the picture in detail. That's something they would cherish and covet. That would be like a big deal to them. They're like, okay, yeah.
Because covet means to desire, right?
Yeah.
To strive. You know?
But it doesn't seem like a lot of these camps are legit going into prophecy and linking it up in the right thing. The spirit ain't dealing with them. Because what is it? Revelation 19 and 10, the spirit of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. They're not coming in the spirit of our big brother, man. Yeah. Okay. You got it. Yep.
No, I was going to make a point and add on to your point. They're coming in the spirit of actually coveting, like in the sense of being greedy.
Yeah.
Greedy. You know, using the word to fulfill their own lusts and to fill their own bellies. See, they're not worried about, like the scripture said, they're not worried about the affliction of Joseph.
Right.
See, they're more so worried about how they can get the bag. You know, I was listening to a video on the way up here about the counterfeit of pretty much the Babylon money, the money magic. That's what they focus on, man. You know, the bag.
The bag. And it's empty. It's not even there.
They're illusion.
That's how far people's mindset is off of prophecy, bro.
People base their value here based off of, you know, what kind of money they have or occupation that they have. You know, niggas really do that. They, you know, you see what kind of car drive? Like that equates to their moral, you know, value or the value that the Lord sees in them. The only thing that truly gives you value is if you're useful to the Lord in righteousness. You know, these people.
Yeah, the scripture says riches deliver not in the day of destruction.
Money groweth weeds and flies away.
Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all ancient and be occupied in prophecies.
Yeah, man. So I always talk about the checklist. If you're trying to narrow who the prophets are, narrow who the wicked are, okay, the Lord gives you scriptures like this to say this person, you know, is he a man of the Lord? Well, he's going to be checking this box. He's going to be occupied in prophecy. They're going to be in season and out of season. They're not going to be in the spirit of God bless America. There's a list of boxes that the person has to check, and you say, oh, this must be a man of the Lord.
Right.
But your teachers, man, they're not occupied in prophecy. There's one subset of men that I honestly can say that prophecy comes up every lesson. You know?
He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, not no goddamn Martin Luther King,
Right.
not no goddamn Malcolm X.
Right.
Yeah, they may have said things that made sense, but we know overall those ain't the leaders the Lord wanted us to follow. We seeking out the sayings of King David, King Solomon. All right, all of the righteous men that rule. All right, of the sons of God, those who really are responsible for laying forth the sacrifice that led to this legacy being continued. All right, so he will keep the sayings of renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables.
Like it says in Matthew the 13th chapter, what did Yahweh Shai tell the disciples? Unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. So this, you know, at the end of the day, it's not given to everybody to know those dark parables, those sayings, understand prophecy. really see the future. Your brother did a beautiful lesson. I watched it early this morning. Yeah. Going into it, he entitled lesson, we can see the future.
Because of wisdom.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, you got it right.
I got space moments. Oh, I'm sorry, don't read.
It's still more than that.
I have one actually based upon what you just said about you can see the future. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come.
Things of old, like history, right? You gonna know these. Hey, I'm talking about that one. It go with that too. That's why you got it up.
Yeah. We know history now. You know what I'm saying?
And that's important because
you got to know certain aspects of history to fully teach this truth.
As the saying goes, you got to know history to understand the mystery. You know, she knoweth the subtitles. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences.
that's why I was having this wisdom and knowledge and understanding. It's how we're able to go into the parables in the scripture.
Right.
You see? Because of wisdom.
Hey, that's how we're able to piece together that this book is about us, knowing the history. If you don't know about the Greek captivity, you go from the end of the Old Testament and jump to Matthew, you're not gonna understand who the Gentiles are. It's so, us knowing that history, like you said, allows us to understand the history.
Last verse says, she foreseeth signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. The events of, events that have happened already, history, and the events that are the events that are to come. The main event that we're looking to see is what? The mandatory implementation of the MOTP. That's an event, that's something in the future that was written thousands of years ago that our forefather John wrote for us.
Right.
The Apostle John wrote for us for us to understand and know what's literally happening right now. It's literally happening right before our face. You'll see. So, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 21 in the GNT, it says, I have learned things that were well known and things that have never been known before, because wisdom, who gave shape to everything that exists, was my teacher.
Yeah, man. So going into that mark, understanding how this devil was gradually getting around to that point, to push that. That's the wisdom that we've been given. That's something to be coveted and cherished, man. Because now, I bring this up all the time. If you've seen a movie 1,000 times before, and you know how in scary movies they have the jump scares where the guy pops out, you're going to be able to be composed after you've seen it 100 times.
Right. You already know.
Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to laugh at it. You're going to be like, oh, yeah. It's not going to be something that causes you to get out of character. That's why the scriptures say wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy time.
Right.
So because we understand the future, we're going to be able to be composed and move accordingly, move spiritually during the time of Jacob's trouble. These people aren't going to be equipped. They've never seen this movie. We read it over and over and over. So as things come, it's going to be different to be in it, but we're going to be prepared in the spirit, man.
Hey, just like this, when Noah was on the scene, when Noah got that information from the Most High, you think he prayed for, wait about 2 more years? No, but when you understand prophecy, you know what to pray for. You know a famine is coming.
Yeah.
So you're gonna ask the Lord to keep us from His wrath. Yeah. So if you don't know how to prophesy or follow in prophecy, you're not gonna know what to pray for in that time. You see, all that wraps up together, man. That's important. You gonna have a 2-3-1 speak about that. They start off a prayer of Happywell, shaking off or something like that.
The song is shaking off.
Right, because in verse 2, it's why? Because the wrath of the Lord was coming on the scene. You got to know how to pray in these times, man, because we see what's happening. Famine in the MOTP and concentration camp, things of that nature. So we ask the Lord to have mercy on us, to remember us in this round of wrath, man.
Not only do we know what to pray for, we also know how to conduct ourselves while we pray and wait.
Yep.
Right? Like it says in Zephaniah 2 and 3, seek righteousness and meekness so that you may be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Everybody should be seeking to be hid when the Lord gets down and busy on this place, man. Yes.
Yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 22 and 16 in the GNT, it says a wooden beam can be put into a building so firmly that an earthquake cannot shake it loose. A person can be trained to use reason and good sense so well that he keeps his head when a crisis comes.
Ooh, man, composure. And when you get composure from, is constant repetition. When you look at, you pick your favorite athlete, the great quarterbacks, who the game is on the line, and it looks like another day for them. It's because they rep it out so much to the point where it's a muscle memory, it's second nature. So in the spirit, for the elect, it's going to be muscle memory to lean on the Lord for understanding. It's going to be muscle memory to operate in faith. See?
You gotta, like you said, about reading that script.
Yeah.
You gotta constantly read that script and get that foundation. Now, you like you said, when you're watching a movie, you can already watch the movie, so you ain't gonna be shook. Everybody else who ain't seen it before, it's gonna affect them differently. It's gonna see it.
Pastor Hart was talking about him, he said when you see the movie, this a couple of videos ago, he said when you watch a movie, you'll be in the movie telling your lady the movie, and she's like, I'm trying to watch. That's us. That's the prophets. We're telling the people, we the loudmouth in the theater, like, hey, it's like, what it is.
Because your senses have been exercised.
Right.
You know, the scripture says, Proverbs 27:12, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. It says, but the simple pass on and are punished. See, prudent, you know, if you have the foresight and you're crafting, you're shrewd, you're going to understand and know what's to come, and you're going to what? You're going to hide yourself from the evil. And the way that you hide yourself by way of coming into this truth, coming into the knowledge. Right. See? Because the knowledge is likened unto a tabernacle. It's likened unto a watchtower, a stronghold of pavilion, covert from the storm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to hide yourself from the knowledge. But the simple, that's not paying attention, they're going to see, they're going to be a part of this scary movie. Right. They're not going to know what the jump scares. Yeah. What's going to happen, man? They're going to be frightened.
They're going to be caught unawares, man. It's going to overtake them as a thief in the night. 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, it talks about the day of the Lord in the night, but then it goes on to those who have been imparted with wisdom, telling them that this day shall not overtake you as a thief. Right? Because they know the movie. When I was a kid in Orlando, man, I believe it was SeaWorld, they had this experience where it was like, you were in like a little show, so you would get on the card and you go through like a little show, and the characters were like 3D. So you know when the whale will jump out and shoot the water out. But if you rode the ride before, you know when to dump, so you don't gotta get wet. You walk around the park all wet. Okay? So we understand when the particular things are gonna happen so that we can move out the way. So we can hide ourselves like we just read.
Isaiah 46:10. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
Yeah, man. So as these evils come upon the earth, a lot of people look at what the Lord's doing, because when people start dropping dead, it's going to seem outlandish. It's going to be worse than any event documented or undocumented. The Lord told us this. So when these evils come upon the earth, remember, the Lord sent men to warn you of these things from the jump. So it's not going to be something that you can say is unfair or unrighteousness with God. Because he sent out man to declare these things unto you from the jump. You said that not in his counsel.
Isaiah 45:19. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I said not to the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare the things that are right.
Hey, because look, he got his prophets, what it said to Corinthians, think full, and I said set the apostles last, and to become a spectacle. So this is on display right in front of you. He's not talking in a tunnel with us in a tunnel and then y'all go out here and speak. No, this is on the internet, man. This ain't kept a secret, because you can't say, well, we didn't hear it, we didn't know. No, it's right in front of your face as a public spectacle, man. You can't get around it.
And not only that, I know we get on the Israelites that are just comment board banging all the time. But hey, every video and news article you go on, you got them drinks on there. The Bible talks about it. There's really nowhere you can go and not be confronted with this truth. The Lord got it that way, man. Every major city across the world, you're going to see dudes and fringes in your marketplaces. You know what I mean? Telling Esau he the wicked, telling people what's getting ready to befall America. Some of us.
And it's not in vain. This is the truth. The Lord didn't set us up in vain. Like, this is a part of very, very divine order that the Lord has set up. The Lord is doing things on earth, and we're witnessing. But we're at the prophet's job is to come into the earth and speak it before it happens, which is a sacrifice.
All right, this is Amos chapter 3 and verse 7 in the GNT. The sovereign Lord never does anything without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets.
That's dope. And before the Lord ever takes down any kingdom, if you Christians understood, you would know that the Lord always sends his men out before he takes a place down.
And the thing is, he showed his prophets his intents and purposes before you do something. Yes. Jeremiah 30 and 24. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. And intents mean his purpose.
Right, he's not a liar.
Right.
Man, let's keep reading this.
Yeah, I'm getting the word intent, but yeah, it's a little more. His purpose, direction, his plot. See? The Lord plotting against his devil. But he not, okay, Jeremiah 30 and 24. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it. Because he's a man that shall not lie. His word don't go out void, right? And until he have performed the intents of his heart, in the latter days you shall consider it. See? You consider it now because the men of the Lord is out on the highways and byways. So when you see that happen, you know something is going on.
Right. The Lord has sent the latter rain. We're the true Latter-day Saints. We're the Latter-day Saints. Yeah. We're the true Latter-day Saints.
Oh, consider means to teach and instruct. See? This could be a doctrine that's going to teach you these things, man. See? Yeah, you got it.
I got something. Romans 10 and 18. It says, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily. Their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. See, and when you get that word sound, that word is throngas, a throngas. And it says a musical sound, whether vocal or instrumental, to the voices of the preachers of the gospel.
Yeah.
See? So that sound going throughout the whole earth is this new song being sung. And that's why Yahweh Shai stated in John the 15th chapter, he said that there shall be no cloak for their sins. There ain't going to be there's not going to be anybody that's going to say, well, I never heard this word, or of the truth of Israelites. I ain't never heard that no message of the Israelites. No, it's not going to be no Israelite, right, that's not going to know or have heard the word. Not one. Even these people walking up and down the street that's not paying no attention. Their ears are still hearing that sound, but but the Lord's not making them comprehend, but it's still hitting their ears. But that sound is talking about what? A musical instrument that's being sung worldwide. It's like the Lord is broadcasting it worldwide.
Well,
the symphony.
That word, the ends in that same verse, is paras, and it says of a thing extending throughout a period of time. It says the remotest lands, the frontier, the ends of the earth. So the remotest lands, like for all the people who've been allotted to receive salvation, who the Lord desires to save, they're gonna hear it.
Yeah.
You know?
And that word world is what to me. Like, you know it's talking about the entire earth, the whole world. That's what that's talking about, man. So this word is gonna be promoted. You know, it makes me think about, you know, like I know like Elder Yashawamba, Elder Ariala, they tell some stories like whenever they seen the apostles on YouTube, they galvanized y'all to be like, man, we gotta go out there and preach. You know, I know first it was Abba Shamala and yourself, but the way that y'all heard the sound. And it prompted, you know, different camps to start popping up throughout Babylon. So what you see going on right now, literally the Great Awakening is like, and then exploding from that point is what you see happening right now because the sound went up. You know, that's heavy thing. You know.
Me think when you was talking about like that sound, like a trump, how this truth is like unto a trumpet. You can hear a trumpet. Everybody's gonna hear the trumpet. You may not understand the song, the tune, the note that's being playing, but like you said, it's still being put out, still being heard.
Cornet. Cornet. Loud as hell. And that was one of the major instruments of the choir the Lord set up. Cornet. You know, like that smooth jazz. That's a dope sound. You know, And this word is likened unto all of that. But I got one. This is Isaiah 41 and 21. Produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Because this word is the only thing making sense. There's nothing out here that can come up against what's been given to the prophets. It says, let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. So all of these other gods, ultimately, bring them forth. Bring forth your strong reasoning against this truth. And has your God pronounced what was going to happen? Has your God sent out men that have faithfully told the people this is going to happen, pursuant to what our God said, here, this? None of the other gods and philosophies are doing that. If anything, all they're doing is coming up against the Bible to really get that platform going, because really the Bible is the only thing that's making sense right now. All right? It says, let them bring forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things what they be. All right? Because you got like philosophies that'll talk about, well, it was a flood. Yeah, the flood was in many stories. The Bible stole the flood story. Okay, well, tell us what happened after the flood. Who survived the flood?
Right. According to your doctrine.
According to your belief. Okay, yeah, the Epic of Gilgamesh had record of the flood. Well, they're Hamites, duh. Ham survived the flood along with Noah, Shem, Japheth, and their wives. So yeah, the Hamites are going to have a story of the flood. But who survived the flood? Did it just everybody died? If everybody died and you believe in a flood, well, who survived it?
Exactly.
What happened after that?
What happened after that? Because through that we should have the ability to trace races back, all right, and nations back to your particular belief. We do that. Okay, it says, let them show the former things what they be, that we may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare us things to come. Right? And that's, Isaiah, the Lord using Isaiah to boast to these other gods. Bring forth your cause and let your God, your doctrine, your belief, your so-called prophets tell us the things that are coming. What's next? Okay? It says, show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. Yea, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. We're dismayed with the Lord. We're like, wow, man, our power is doing something. Our power is doing a lot in the planet Earth, man. I got it. No, wait.
Okay, sir.
You can bring it down.
All right, Con, this is laying back on what Elder Yashimama just read. Isaiah 44, verse 6 and 7 in the NLT. This is what Yahweh says, Israel's King and Redeemer, Yahweh of heaven's armies. I am the first and the last. There is no other God. And what this means when he says there is no other God, they ain't talking about how, you got these Old Testament only guys. They didn't fill off the flat earth so far, right? But here it is. They said, well, yeah, he said there is no other God. No, it's talking about there is no other power. You see, like, yeah, Yahweh does his bidding through his right hand, right? Which is Yahweh Shai and the Holy Host. Verse 7.
We just read, what did it just say? I am the Lord of hosts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, read that word for hosts. Read it again, and then read the word for hosts.
Okay.
That right there will cut it.
Yep. Isaiah 44, verse 6. It says, I'll read it in the KJV because it has the word host there. Thus said Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts. Right? And when you get that word host here is tazabah. All right? It says that which goes forth. Army, warfare, host of angels.
Host of angels.
Acts 15. Host of angels.
So if he's the Lord of hosts, all right, and he's saying I'm the only power, which we know the other angels are powers, what is he saying? He's saying ultimately nothing, all right, operates outside of his power. All right? The Most High God, Yahweh, man, he established, all right, the host, which at the forefront of it is Yahweh Shai.
Yep, because it says the Redeemer. See, when you go to like Exodus 20, what is it, Exodus 23, I think it is? that redeemer was Yahweh. He was that angel that redeemed us out of the land of Egypt.
Right. But Yahweh got the credit.
He got the credit, but Yahweh's got the credit because he's the one that sent you. He was the one that sent it up. See? And he executed it, right? Yahweh executed it, right? Verse 7 in the NLT, it says, who is like me? Let him step forward and prove to you his power. Let him do as I have done since ancient times when I established the people and explained its future. See, so he's like, man, look, if there's any other God like me, let him come forward and let him prove what's happening right now. Like you said in one of your recent videos, he's like, man, look, if Son, let him walk up again. Man, no, have him break down what he believes in. Have him break down all these 2,000 plus Egyptian gods and the creation story and all this other kind of matter. Let him prove what they're got. What's happening in the world right now, today, and these other guys that claim that our power is false. Well, go to your documents and prove what's happening right now, and they won't be able to do it. That's why they gotta pretty much go on the back of the Hebrew Israelites now, right? And you don't see no more Shaka Mos, Tahuti with the drugs in the group, but you don't see these guys no more, man. You see now everything is being talked about the Hebrew Israelites. You see, and that's all through the dealings of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. This word is taking the world by grip, whereas nobody can be without excuse.
Right.
Everything's revolving around the word, man. You got it. All right, I got two. This Psalms 86 and verse 8 in the NLT, it says, "No pagan God is like you, O Lord. None can do what you do." That's right, man. Going into like what it says, the works, man. Real quick, I'm gonna jump to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse let's see. And verse 32. And I'm reading the NLT. Deuteronomy 4 and 32 in the NLT, it says, "Now search all of history from the time the Most High created people on the earth until now, and search from one end of the heaven to the other. Has anything as great as this ever been seen or heard before? Has any nation ever heard the voice of God speaking from fire, as you did in Sabah? Has any other God dared to take a nation for himself out of another nation by means of trials, miraculous signs, wonder, war, and a strong hand, a powerful arm, and terrifying acts? Yet that is what the Lord your God did for you in Egypt right before your eyes." See, you can clearly see the works, even now in these times, you can clearly see the works of the Lord in the earth, man. Going back into the elder was talking about the time of the flood, you see, the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, all right, the time of the Exodus, when the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, you see, there is actual documentation to that is showing evidence, man, showing the chariot wheels in the water, just up the scriptures, showing the acts of the Lord, man. But you can't go on YouTube and see the evidence of Allah working in the earth, man. You see, or Buddha, or none of these pagan guys, man. Why? Yeah, Nuke or all the Egyptian guys, man. Why? Because that's why the Yahweh said, man, hey, there is none like me, man. You see?
That's why in Habakkuk it said, "I heard the speech of thy word, and I was afraid." You know what, the power in the earth, man, the heaven or above, that to bring that type of magnitude to a person, man. You hear the words of the Lord, you get afraid. Man. No other book. No book can want. The Bible said that you can't match a book with this or any other history with it, man. It's only one, man. That's it.
It's Isaiah 41, verse, let's see, I'm gonna read verse 21, 22, and jump down to verse 26. "Produce your cause, saith the Lord Yahweh. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob." Oh, we did? Oh, wow.
That's a spirit, yeah, that's a spirit.
Verse 22. "Let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things what they be, that we may consider them and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for it to come." The elder says, we just brought that up. His spirit wants to come out again, man, because these other different idols, because they're all just one thing as idols, they cannot, and as the scripture says, man, Isaiah 34 and 16, none shall want her mate. None can really, there's no other book, belief that can match what the Bible says, because everything that you can see going on in the world right now, you can relate it back to the scriptures.
Right, and every
prophecy, every word the Lord spoke, it's going to hit the mark. These prophecies, it's going to happen. Like the Israelites, no way around that. Us going into captivity before we woke up, there was no way around these things, and it's not going to want its mate. It's not going to be looking now. Ultimately, it's going to hit the mark and do what the Lord said it was going to do.
Because we speaking out here right now, things are happening. This is live. This is straight recorded live, like live, literally.
In the NLT, it says, "For the word of the Lord holds true, and we can trust everything He does." You read in the KJV, it says, "For the word of the Lord is right, and all His works are done in truth." See, so man, ain't can't nothing stand up to these scriptures, man. You see, that's why everything is all around the scripture, man. Everybody's trying to come up and dispute the Bible, man. You see, even like the elder said, man, these Egyptology niggas, man. Where are all your guys? You niggas never talk about, man. All you talking about is the Lord, a God that you don't even believe in. Where's your prophecies in Egypt, man? You see all these guys that you're supposed to have. Where's the prophet? Why'd your black ass going to slavery, man? Can't none of those 2,000 guys tell you that, man.
They can't even speak.
Idols.
Right, they collect dust, fall over and break. Man, that's made by men's hands. Like, oh, weird, man.
Isaiah 43, verse 6 through 9. "I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the world."
Right.
This is happening right now through this word, man. You know, Jacob's being risen up from all across the four corners of the earth, man. Right? Even everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yeah, I have made him. And the scriptures talk about how, we will be created unto good works. See, because this isn't of us. See, this knowledge that we have, and the scriptures talk about how pretty much our sufficiency is of the Lord, man. See, this is the Lord's program. Like Isaiah 44, verse 1. Hey, like that scripture lets us know what we're doing right now. That was written before we was born, man. And we're actually doing what the scripture says would happen. Right? It says,
everybody that's born is born to fulfill a prophecy. Whether you're eating and drinking and being married, whether you're ruling the world as the Edomites, whatever you may be, all right? Or the prophets. The prophets were born into the earth to fulfill what was written of the Lord. Ezekiel 37. All right, the dry bones had to awaken through the prophets going out. That's what Ezekiel represented. Well, we had to come and fulfill that. All of these things, man. There's people set up on the earth, particular rulers of these other nations that are born to shoot on Babylon. Everybody's playing their course, man, but it's all ordained of the Lord, man. And that's where giving us that understanding gives us comfort. That's why the understanding of the scriptures is like a comfort. Because it comforts you in every way. It gives you closure. It gives you all the answers you've been looking for. It tells you what's next. And it's faithful.
Man, on time, faithful.
That's why this is the woman to be into.
That's right.
Verse 8, it says, "Bring the blind people that have ears, and the deaf that have ears. Bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears." Because the Lord, he's the one that creates the eyes to see and the ears to hear, man. See, spiritually, right? Here's a point, verse 9. "Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this, and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified. Or let them hear and say, it is true." You see, so who can bring forth these things for to come? And let their prophets come forth, man. You see, because the scripture says that the wisdom of this world will be considered foolish, man. See, he will bring forth the prophets, or the quote-unquote wisdom and the wise of this world. It will be brought to naught, man. See? And it's all being done through his word coming out, man. That the Lord, he had put forth his wisdom that came from a whole different dimension into vessels, into men like us. Weak vessels that, but through this word going out, it's literally breaking down strongholds, man. That's why Esau is that's why he's so fearful and scared, because this isn't something that he can tangibly grab. He could tangibly go into the temple back in the day and, randomly sack it. He can't do it. He can't do it with this, That was
This is Proverbs 20 and 12. the hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord hath made even them both. Like you said, you know, he's opened up our understanding. Now we have eyes to see, ears to hear, and he blocks particular people from seeing it. Esau is basically set up by the Lord in a lot of Pharaoh. He's the modern day Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened by the Lord. Pharaoh was led to chase the Israelites into the sea, the Red Sea, so he can drown. The Lord made his dumb ass do that. He put him in a position in all of his army to drown. So you Edomites are no different. You just have more technology. You have more, control. But ultimately, Pharaoh is linked to a vessel fitted for destruction. You Edomite, you through. You're not gonna win. You think you're gonna just make everybody put a mask on again, and everybody's gonna bow to your little BS, little juice? Look, in the Quran of the Lord is gonna slap. The Lord said He's gonna send His Son to rebuke all of these wicked inventions.
Right.
You Edomites are played out. You're childish, and you got some nerves to try to come up against the Israelites for what we're teaching and saying we're crazy. You're diabolical. In your damn mind. Yeah, he tripping.
It was me a man from back in Genesis.
He mad. He got the lentils in his back teeth. He hurt. He want that blessing back. He want that birthright back. But it's too late. The Lord had it set up in the spirit that we would have chosen, man.
Right.
But He gave you a temporal blessing. All of the nations, that's another thing about our power. All nations rule. He was fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody had their little piece, their little time to shine, so say. Subjects, And you Edomites have the Lord has blessed you. You can't, you won. You won. You just ain't gonna win forever. Jacob is gonna win forever, man.
Isaiah 29, verse 17, and I'm going to read down. Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field,
Right.
and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest?
Right.
And that's what's happening right now.
Right. And Lebanon too is symbolic of the elect, because that's where Solomon got the majority of wood to build his palace. Not the temple, certain parts of the temple, but Lebanon was where he could. Yeah, the temple. Yeah, so a lot of the wood he used was from Lebanon, cedars of Lebanon. Okay, which means pure, white, the elect. Laban means white, pure, and that's what the elect. That's what we're striving to be. Go ahead.
It says, is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest? Like it's going to continue to grow. It's going to be a fruitful field at one point. It's going to turn into a vast forest of just cedar trees.
Right.
And that's what you see happening right now. We're liking it to trees, right?
And how and what process really aids that? Things growing in the earth. Water. And the scriptures talks about how He's going to give us the latter rain, man. He would send prophets, and he who believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. So we're being watered. That's why you see all of these Israelites sprouting up, because this word is going out.
He said, my doctrine shall drop as rain. Doctrine. This is the word. It's going to drop like rain. Then when you read in James 5, it tells you what? It says, be patient, for the Lord's going to bring the former and the latter rain.
Yep. See, you just did a lesson.
Yeah. Verse 18. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness.
This is that day now. Be able to see and hear now through the spirit of the hour by Shabbat. This is it. They keep saying that time and that day, man. You can't get around it, man. You got it right.
It's a little bit more. Verse 19. The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel.
Because Jake the elect is waking up every day, man. So we rejoicing more and more because we see that hope. The Lord has come to redeem His people, man, to call us up in the air with Him, man, because this captivity is finally over when Yahweh shall come back with all the angels destroy this place, man.
Yep. And when you get that word meek in the Hebrew is Anawa. It says, poor, weak, and afflicted Israel. And you know who the meek is, man.
Right.
Poor, weak, and afflicted Israel. And then verse 20, check this out. Because it said that the fruit of the field is going to be built, you know, the blind eyes are going to see, right? Verse 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. So as this happens, as this fruitful field becomes a forest, the blind eyes see, we rejoice in the Lord. Esau is going to be exposed, and he's going to be passing laws, whereas you're going to be offended for even speaking this word. You're going to be, it's going to be an offense to even speak this truth. When you get that word offender, the word chatayah or chata, which means a sin or to bear guilt or to be punished. So now it's likened unto being a sin in Esau's terms if you speak the truth, and there comes consequences behind it. See? So as this word goes out, it's going to be the terrible one is going to be brought down through this word coming out, man.
He coming after us, the Lord coming after this side.
Yep. It's going to be a clash, man. It's going to be a battle, man. Like, you're going to have the prophets of Baal. I'll say it like this, man. You're going to have the prophets of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and the prophets of Baal are going to clash. See, but it's already written who's going to win. Yeah. It's already written who's going to be destroyed. You know, Elijah represents the prophets.
Yep.
You know, and what happened when the prophets of Baal went up against him, man? The fire rained down from on high, you know, and consumed the altar. You know, that fire came down from heaven.
Hey, and they failed in front of everybody. They failed in front. They caught a big L, man. That had to be embarrassing. This devil's about to get embarrassed and brought low.
That's right.
It said that the prophets of Baal, they was screaming, they was calling to their gods from
Cutting
morning
themselves.
to evening, all day long. They was cutting themselves, they was losing their minds.
Elijah was like, is your God on vacation? Where he at?
You must have went to the bathroom or
He
something.
went to the bathroom. Where he at?
Yeah.
Mocking those gods, man. And we doing that now.
That's right.
Spirit, man, that's what's happening right now. We're like, man, look, you bring forth your strong reason. You know, where's your witnesses at? Where's your prophets at, man? You see, because Esau truly believes in his left hand blessing. He has faith in it. You see, it says our people walking around in Bozo world, Bizarro land, you know, walking around and they truly believe in this left hand system. That's why 2/3 of our people are completely blinded, but the elect have the eyesight to actually see. You know, that was about this.
Revelation 15:1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. From them are filled up the wrath of the Most High God. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High.
Is that the same one where it said they sing the song of Moses?
Yep. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, O King of the saints. Yep, and the song of Moses, there's about 2 or 3 different ones. One is in Deuteronomy 32, all right, but the one, all right, that's synonymous with victory over your oppressor is in Exodus the 15th chapter, where Moses, all right, the children of Israel, Miriam had a solo song victory, all right, over Pharaoh when he drowned. Get it real quick? Exodus 15. So when we get on the chariot, we're going to be singing that same song, but a renewed song, a new song. And it's going to be victory over the Edomites, victory over the beast, which is the Edomite, his image, which is this very system, which is the revival of Rome, idol worship, Rome 2.0, Babylon the Great, the NWO, what they're trying to shove and force down everybody's throat, victory over that, victory over his name, which he's trying to put on people through his mark. victory over all of that. Victory over the beast, his image, his mark, his name, and everything he's trying to do, in which he's trying to basically put his footprint, all right, put his fingerprint on the Lord's creation.
That man don't get no taller.
And he's going to be stopped. The Lord ain't going to allow this devil to ultimately put a faragma in everybody. Because if he's able to do that, then he wins. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 15 and verse 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord.
In the prior chapter, the Lord told the Israelites, he told Moses, you know they was like, hell no. Moses said, stand right here. And the Lord gonna have him chase, basically stand right here and watch the Lord work. And basically, Pharaoh and his army, they got drowned out. So the very next chapter, go ahead, read it again.
Exodus chapter 15 and verse 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously.
Right, he have triumphed gloriously. I'm singing unto the Lord. Go ahead.
It says, the horse and the rider and his rider have to be thrown into the sea.
Right.
The Lord is my strength and song.
Right, the horse and his rider have he thrown into the sea. Okay, in the modern day horse and rider, if you go to Revelation, the 6th chapter, all right, the red horse. And he was given a great sword. You Edomites, you represent the modern day Pharaoh who we're getting the triumph over. And it's going to be in even a more glorious fashion. Because it was an angel that led the Israelites. It's an angel that was responsible for Moses doing those miracles. All right? And that angel followed the Israelites in the wilderness. He led them out of Egypt into the wilderness. This time we go up. See? And ultimately, to be led out of Egypt, we were led into the wilderness, but eventually the Lord made a covenant with us. You see? Well, when we get out of this new Egypt, we go up and he's going to make a new covenant with us, all right, in the secret chamber. The chariot, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts, all right, defend Jerusalem. Passing over, he shall pardon her. Ultimately, the second Passover is coming. And you Edomites just happen to be in the lot of Pharaoh, man. Go ahead.
Verse 2, the Lord is my strength and my song, and he has become my salvation. He is my power, and I will prepare him a habitation. My father's power, and I will exalt him. Right. Verse 3, the Lord is a man of war.
Right.
Yahweh is his name.
So this whole thing is a song. So when we get on the chariot, we get victory over this BS here. You know, when the Lord takes us through whatever we got to go through, Jacob's trouble, which you got many Israelites trying to run away from. No, Jacob's trouble is coming. We're going to be persecuted for what we're teaching, man. This goes against the whole status quo of what this Edomite is setting up. And we're boldly proclaiming it. So what do you think? He's just going to sit back and say, all right, let him keep going? No, he's coming after us. We're witnessing good versus evil being played out in the earth, man. And this message represents good. We're prophesying of a kingdom to come where there's justice, where there's no pedophiles, where the water's clean, the air's clean, the food is all organic and real. You can have a family, land. Here it is, we're on the planet Earth suffering. All of the beauty that's in the earth, the people that live on it are suffering while the elites just live on a high horse, man. Get the kingdom. At least, you know, the kingdom won't be living like us, but at least they'll be able to see a righteous rulership, breathe clean air. The law's going to lead to this place being cleaned up. You Edomites got to go, man. You're a problem.
Verse 4, it says, Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts have he cast into the sea.
Yes. And they sung about it. Was that racist? And why did that happen to Pharaoh and them? Because of his rebellion against the Most High. And they had the Israelites in slavery, all right, for 400 and some years. So is it wrong to say that Edomites are going to pay for having us in slavery and rebelling against the Lord? No. If we so-called racist, Moses is racist. Which racist just means to advocate for your own people, man. And the Most High advocates for his own people, Yahweh advocates for his own people, and so do we. But we're not going to go out and because we're Israelites, go and harm another race of people. We're not commanded to do that. But when we get the power, it's on. Yeah.
I ain't gonna advocate for their own race. But if you walk up too close up on them, that's when they get your ass.
Man, 2nd Edges 13. Bro.
That's
Somebody get it for it. Yeah, we the only ones advocating for our people, man. Sirach 13. Yeah.
Consorteth.
Start at 15.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 15. Every beast loveth his light.
Every beast loveth his light. Right? Cows hang with cows. Certain animals who are in the same habitat, chilling together. But for the most part, they on their own thing. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, Sirach 13 and 15, every beast loveth his light, and every man loveth his neighbor.
And who's the neighbor in the scriptures? Your Israelite. According to the law, your neighbor is an Israelite. Go ahead.
All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his light.
There you go. Cleave to his light now.
Down to 17.
It's a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, 17, 18.
It says, what fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner...
Right, you at the podium. All right, you a lamb, but you at the podium voting for the wolf. Then you wonder why he keep passing policies that destroy the lamb.
Right.
You know you're a wolf.
Yeah, you know you're a wolf.
You see him put the lamb mask on. You still got the paws. You know what I'm saying? But you know. It says, what fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly. What agreement is there between the hyena and the dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor?
Ooh.
You know? So that goes to show you, man, there's in the Lord had made a separation. You know, he had made a separation between Israel and the Egyptians.
That's right.
So if Pharaoh's likened unto modern day, if Esau's likened unto modern day Pharaoh today, that'll let you know who the modern day Egyptians are today. You had Jake calling himself Egyptians back then, even though they were Israelites. See, but the Lord had made a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Man. You know. Oh, sure. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 12. Matthew chapter 12. I'm gonna read down. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse 15 just to get the point and read down the context. It says, but when Yahushua knew it, he withdrew himself from thence, and great multitudes followed him, and he healed them all. And he charged them that they should not make him known.
Right, he didn't want to be made of no reputation.
Verse 17, that it might be fulfilled which is spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, behold my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. That Gentiles is talking about the Israelite foreigners, man. The judgment is talking about the justice which comes from this word being spoken, right? He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. And he's quoting, what's that, Isaiah 53? I'm sorry, Isaiah 42. You see? And you got Israelites, you got Jake talking about, see, you ain't supposed to be prophesying outside on the streets, brother. No, it's going into the fact that he didn't, like what the elders just mentioned, he didn't want to be made of a public reputation in a sense like that. You see? Just like us, when we ain't out here to try to be made on reputation in the sense of, you know, such and such burns down Dallas, Texas, and the streets on fire. You know, you stand there on a thumbnail with fire on the fire. You know, that ain't what you're supposed to be doing, right? Verse 20, point. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment unto victory. See, till he send forth judgment unto victory, and that judgment is being sent forth, obviously, right now, first and foremost, with this word going out. The judgment is being put out until victory. It's not telling you that the judgment is going to go out until possibly victory is going to come. No, it says until the victory comes. It's coming.
Just like the fall came. That was written, the victory is coming.
I got that word victory. That word is nikos.
Nike. It's like Nike. Or Negas. Negas. Yeah, Nike is a Greek goddess for victory.
Yep. Yep. And then when you get that Nike or the name Nico goes back to victory, right?
Like Thessalonica, victory over falsity.
Wow, man. Man, that's why you gotta know that's why getting into words is fun, man. When you get a word, you can literally do a whole lesson just based off of one word. You know? But it says in that particular verse here, it says victory until he had gained the victory, death is swallowed up in victory. It's an everlasting splendor. Forever. Everlasting. See? That's what that word victory is going into. So what? So when we get caught up into them chariots, Lord, when we give that number, what? We're going to be transformed and changed into a splendor. We're going to be likened unto Yahushua, man. That's when death is going to be swallowed up, man. So
That's when we start living.
That's
the
victory.
new covenant.
That's it.
That's salvation.
That's it. That's salvation, man. That's victory over falsity, man. That's it. But it has to be proclaimed first. See? That's why the scripture says that the kingdom of heaven shall be with you. The kingdom of heaven is this word going out initially. You see? Because it enters into the mind of the elect, the seed being sown, and that thought or that belief is going to spring forth into actions, whereas action's going to happen. And we believe that. We truly believe that America's going to be destroyed. We ain't out here just talking shit. You see? We ain't out here just calling the so-called white man Esau the devil just for fun. You know, when you first come in, you come in saying it. You know, but after a while, man, like when you see it, like, wrong time.
No, he's bad. He's bad for business. He gotta go.
He gotta be moved out the way, man. He has to go. I see now more and more now, like why Yahushua said, look, if he doesn't return, there will be no flesh left to be saved.
Man.
Like I see it like more now. Like,
Man.
if he ain't pushed out the way, everything would die. Everything would die, then he would just kill out. He would just destroy himself. You know?
Yep, go to Mars, build a McDonald's. He wouldn't stop.
Concrete on Mars. Nah, that was
So with that, we'll give all praises to the Heavenly Father.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and bishops, the elders at Great Millstone, peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.